We pulled up on a bunch of working girls and asked them what they working with. Look at me, I got the blunt in my mouth. Usually I'm drug free, but shit, I'm with the homies.
Don't just Mumble TV. Big Shanty. You see me? Back again, episode 13. Yeah. So first thing first. Kendrick? Alright, we're gonna go to Kendrick first. What direction will Kendrick go in? We saw Kendrick do go one direction and Good Kid, Mad City. We saw him go another direction and To Pimp a Butterfly. And then he kinda found a middle ground with the last project, Damn. Now, what direction will he go in moving forward? Will he continue in that middle ground between heavily conscious and almost undigestible for the fans, for the casual fans who really found To Pimp a Butterfly abrasive, kinda like Jesus, in terms of not being pleasing to the ear? But you clearly think it was way more pleasing than Jesus to the ear. But will he go revert to that direction, or will he go to a Good Kid, Mad City, which is pretty... He went closer to Good Kid, Mad City with Dan. I don't think it's even the middle ground between To Pimp a Butterfly.
That's what I was just gonna, you know how I feel about it.
It's really pretty Good Kid, Mad City, but I can still see the evolution and the aspects of To Pimp a Butterfly, like certain songs.
Mad City mix it up.
A more of a dash of To Pimp a Butterfly. Yeah, like a few tracks, like that have that.
I think I feel like.
That's definitely a Good Kid, Mad City style. But what direction do we think he'll actually go in? Will he continue in this one, or will he? I think
he'll just do it. I think he'll just do what he wants. As in,
what do we think he'll want to do?
He'll just everything.
So just do it again, basically. The same thing, just refine it and just do it again. Just with his growth, with his natural growth. Okay.
Probably start the R&B or rock. Start the heavy metal. Start doing heavy metal instrumentals over his verses, or like what he did at the Grammys one season with the Red Dragon guys.
You guys know who he's talking about. The only rock performance that Kendrick did. But I think he might lean more towards To Pimp a Butterfly this time.
Because you see that as his personality.
What that?
Yeah, To Pimp a Butterfly. The going back with the jazz and pro-black and so you feel.
I think this was a conscious effort to get more fans on his side, to bring in more casual fans and people who weren't fans of his music.
What if To Pimp a Butterfly was to bring in some more older head fans?
No, he said he always wanted to do his debut album should have been something like that, but he wasn't confident enough to do it. Like his parents, remember his mother and Good Kid, Mad City was saying, put out something that me and your dad can step to. And he wanted to do that, but as he said, he didn't think he would accept, because even when he was established, even after Good Kid, Mad City, it wasn't fully appreciated.
Him wanting to do it doesn't necessarily mean that that's his favorite lane.
I don't think that's it. I don't know what his favorite lane is.
No, but based on your point, you're implying that he prefers to do something like
No. I said my point was that some elements of them seem like it was a conscious effort, as I said, to get casual fans and some people who weren't fans of Kendrick before on his side, so he can continue to tell his story. So I don't think it will be as much leaning that way as it was. I think he carry it back a little bit more. You probably actually find the middle ground.
So why do you think that? I just think the music was just different type of music. Not necessarily. I don't think he necessarily.
You know, conscious.
Obviously, you're going to consciously choose to do something like whatever you feel at that moment in your life. But I think it's just that, and that's the instrumental he just chose. That's the beats he chose. Those are the beats he chose at this period in his life. That's what I think. I don't think it was any algorithm or any. You know? Yeah.
But so the fact that I think he made a conscious effort to make it a little more commercial or mainstream friendly, then I think by default that means that's naturally not what he wants to do.
But that's what I was just saying. And I said
no, but that doesn't mean that I think to pimp a butterfly is what he wants. I just think that damn isn't fully what he wants to do. That's something different.
Yeah, but at the same time we were saying that he said that's what he wanted to do in his first album, and that was supposed to come out as his first album. And so I was just saying, well, to me it sounded like you were implying.
That's not what I was implying.
Looks like a duck.
It doesn't really, but
yeah, so you think that he'll head towards more of a to pimp a butterfly?
I think he'll find probably more of a middle ground.
That's not what you said at first.
That's what I said.
You said he would be more of a pimp or butterfly. That's the first thing.
He will lean more to it in terms of it being here. Any movement is more towards, not necessarily more than 50%. I meant literally more to it. But I meant like maybe find more of a middle ground on his next one is what I think.
Yeah, I just think he'll be doing music that he loves and just wants to do that at that period of time in his life. That's all.
Alright.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Record labels. Should you tell us what you think? First thing first. We clearly disagree. I think he'll find a middle ground between the two. He thinks he'll just, I guess it's hard to say you're wrong. He'll just make music. It's not really an answer. But yeah, but
that's the answer I gave.
Yeah, that's the answer. He doesn't really answer the question, but you tell us what you think he'll do, for sure. But no, record labels. Should rappers sign? A lot of rappers are signed. Majority of the rappers are signed. The mainstream ones, obviously. A lot of people are complaining about, more and more people seem to be complaining about labels. Should rappers sign to labels, or get signed and stay signed, or should they start their own record label or go independent? What do you think? I think there's no right answer. I think it depends. If the label is offering you full creative control, connections with other labels and artists, and giving you no budget to make your music, and if it's all pluses for the rapper, there is no reason not to sign.
Unless you can create that buzz and by yourself.
Unless you have.
Unless you can create like it.
But it's not about.
I said.
I wasn't saying buzz though. It's not necessarily the buzz, but they have actual connections, actual money that they can give you to do what you want to do. And if they're not taking any of your creative control or anything like that.
I get that. If you're saying if it make business sense, commercial sense, creative sense, if you get all that not gonna happen.
That isn't going to happen. That does happen.
Well,
logic like that.
Or like
full creative control.
No budget.
The first time around you had a budget.
Exactly. You have to prove yourself. You have to do something for them to.
That's one case though.
That's most cases with J. Cole. Only case I can think of where that didn't happen is probably Kendrick over T.D.E. and
why don't you think Kendrick had a budget?
Well, I guess you'd have had to have a budget too. I don't think that happens.
So where were we? Like you were saying that if it, I don't even remember what I said. What were you saying?
I was basically saying that I don't think anybody out there who signed ever got a deal with no budget involved. I don't recall.
But how is that even relevant though? Because
no, it's relevant because you just said it.
Alright, now I'm saying this. How is no budget relevant if when you're independent you have to deal with that? So if you want something else, you can just pay for it like you would.
Well, I guess I can just. I guess you as an artist, but then again, if you can, why start? Well, I guess
you're getting more money. You're getting the networks that they have. But if you have other networks, if you know people personally or meet people, or if the budget is $1 million and you want $500,000 more,
you can put your person if you have a personal money. You can put
and that's what you would have to do if you weren't signed. You would have to spend your money, so like it's a plus, like it's still not a minus, it's a plus for them to give you more money on top of what you have.
It's just that most of the times that money comes with obligations.
I understand what you're saying, like a lot of people come out saying that they get fucked and shit, but I think
more people than that.
Ever. Then I'm not sure, maybe. But like if a lot of people seem to get all the time that people are complaining, it seems to be about creative control
and support and
again
and push behind like marketing support.
True. Because I was going to say, if you're independent, you would have to market the music, but then at some point the label has to be doing something.
Yeah, but if you probably
just taking the time.
It's just a case where I think with an independent artist, even if you don't have a label, more than like you would have a team and that team would more than likely, they wouldn't be, even if you have to spend your own money and run around, you probably put more into it than per se. Like, you're probably sitting down and expect the label to do this and do that, or them give you promises, and then at the end of the day, people just probably just don't fucks with it like that, or they probably fucks with the label darling per se, the money maker, and they just don't put as much into it. And people will probably say, oh, I guess you just like how you can put your own money into it, you can do it, but what the fucking point of the label? Just to say, oh, we have the links, so do everything yourself.
I'm not saying that should be the role. I was just saying, if there are no minuses for you, then if it makes sense for you, it makes sense. It can make sense.
Yeah, I'm saying
it definitely can make sense. But
definitely, most definitely, signing can make sense. But me personally, if you can do without a label, if you know people in the background, if you been building relationships, if you know people in the label company CEOs, like if you have access to certain things, I don't see why you should sign.
Well, naturally, if you can do the label's job, it makes absolutely no sense to sign.
And most of the times, I think that artists think that it's impossible or it's far-fetched to do what the label does.
I think
and
so
most
too.
of the time they don't. Some of them, like, even if they could, and I might sound a bit naive, but even if they could, I don't think most of them would even find out. Because if they could be independent, or if they could be just as successful.
That not naive. I can understand people, like, if you come and you don't think out of the box and you know that, oh, I want to be a rapper, I need to get signed. If that's all you know, then that's all you know.
You know, this is just pointing back to chance, right? And
but credibility is not a question.
But what I'm saying is, chance, the only reason why his credibility is under siege, under attack, is because people never seen this before. And they just think that it's impossible. Just going back to my point, and most of these people who think like that, they wouldn't try to do what he did, because they just don't think it's possible.
The thing is, right.
That's the point that I was getting at. Not that Chance is independent or not, and you know where I stand on that. So I wasn't talking about that. I was just talking about the point that the mentality that people have. The only reason people think that Chance is not independent is because they've never seen it before.
Yeah. And that's understandable.
That's a dumb reason.
No, but you were just saying if it looks like a duck, sounds like a duck. If nobody has ever done this, and the only people who
have exceptions.
Yeah, but you weren't saying that a while ago.
No, because it wasn't
fit for you.
No, not necessarily fit for me.
Anyway, so yeah.
You're just trying to get back at me.
No, that's a valid point. You're not going sunset to you right now. That's a valid point. Like,
you always have except you can't just
yeah, and you never said that a while ago, as I was saying. That's my point.
Well, you should have said that.
Yeah, I did though. Both times I said it.
It was an exception.
No, I said that you said it looks like a duck, and I said it doesn't though. I did say, nah, that's bullshit.
So how does this look like a duck?
No, because as I said, nobody ever did it before, so that means the people who have done it are signed to a label. That's why it's unheard of. That's why we've never seen it before.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that
of course it doesn't.
So that means that it looks like a duck.
Yes, that's what the ducks look like. Yeah, but the point I'm making is that Chance doing like this isn't all down to him being independent or assigned. Like some people are chosen, like Kendrick, as I said. Chance was going to be big. So I don't even think that
some people are chosen, what I mean.
Like some people, their fans just gravitate to.
Oh.
So like Chance is somebody that a lot of people who are signed are not as big as Chance. Are not getting Grammys, don't get the features he gets, so it's not even down to him being independent fully. He's just a dope artist that people gravitate. That's a part, if you get what I'm saying.
I don't get what you're saying.
People who are signed, you were saying that people say this is impossible because he's signed. Anybody who has done this is signed. And I'm saying that that's not even fully the case, because Chance is bigger than a lot of people who are signed.
So what's the way so?
The point is that Chance being this big, Chance getting in these positions.
The point is they've never seen this before.
Yeah, but even people who are signed haven't done this. That's the
but people, yes, but so a lot of people who have signed haven't done a lot of stuff, but people who have signed have done this already.
Yeah. Very few.
What, get 3 Grammys and don't he's doing that?
Yeah, right. No, in this space you can't just say 3 Grammys, because you can get 3 Grammys over 20 years. You did it in like 2 or 3 in one go.
But I didn't like, so Jay-Z, Kanye, we all the big artists that never did
How
that.
many big artists are there in comparison to artists in general?
No, but what I'm saying is, what is your point? The point is that other people who have signed have done it already, and people, even if people who haven't signed haven't done it, that, so what? That's very irrelevant.
Alright, I don't get it. Forget that. So what is the verdict then? What do you think? Yeah,
it depends.
It depends. So yeah, that's what I was saying in the beginning. Like it depends on the situation, but you tell us what you think. If it makes sense to you, if it's going to help you to reach where you want to go quicker, if it's a bonus,
I don't think you should think about it happening quicker. I don't think. I guess it depends on what you want. But I personally think if it will take 5 years to reach the same place and you can do it yourself, and it will take 2.5 years with the label, do it yourself.
Unless that's what you think. I think I agree. Unless it makes sense. But if you're looking at it in front of you and in your specific situation it makes sense, then do it. But other than that, if you can do the job of the label, if you don't want any future problems to arise, like in terms of, as I say, like putting out the label not pushing you, like you don't think they're doing their job, so it seems pointless, and you have a certain amount of albums to do before you can get off of the label. If you don't want things like that to potentially happen, or you finish an album and they don't want to put it out, or stuff like that.
That's another
those
thing.
Potential problems can always be.
Even problems not in the, like, I guess they would be in the contract, but just even look. People act like family, this and that, we're cool till they're not cool. And then you sign a contract, not under any duress or not, it's just not under the same energy, and then like you can't, they're not, like, as I said, look at Birdman and Weezy, brother, son, and then but look at even Jay-Z being a seagull.
But a lot of unsigned people who fail that rap going to say, I should have took a record deal and I tried it on my own and I got nowhere.
Well, I guess that they would, I guess they should have signed, but I don't.
Exactly. So that's why I said if it makes sense, everything is a risk.
Yeah, if
signing is a risk as well.
No, but I'm just saying, like, not because you probably. It would seem like it's all pluses in terms of like creativity, budget, and like at the underlining, like you probably get beat up every day.
Well, that's why I make sure. That's why I continued into this to saying like, if think out there are still potential problems that can come with relationships in general. So if you sign a contract to stick with certain people, you can have problems down the line. So that is something to think about. That is 100% something to think about. Like if you're going to get beat up like some, or not getting to put out the album, not getting any help, think it through.
They said that I guess in terms of creativity, they couldn't tell you what to put on the album, but they can still say,
and just say we're not putting it out. Yeah, so those things can happen. If you guys don't have the same vision at the beginning, it probably don't make sense. If it's not somebody that's like, you are dope, bro.
All I'm saying is,
and it still can potential problems happen with relationships, and then people get married and get divorced. So like, 50%, you know what I mean? So. Yeah, I just think it through and make a decision that you're comfortable with. I can't convince you that one is right and one fully wrong. Both of them have risks. Because you can say, I got beat up and never got to put out an album. Lupe can say that, but he has a Grammy, he has won every accomplishment in music. So if he hadn't signed and he didn't make it and didn't do anything, he didn't get the minus and the plus. You would probably say, well, I would have taken being signed and doing the song.
And it depends, I'm probably he'll probably say, I probably would have settled for a gold album and just a Grammy nominated and just being able to do what I want to do.
And I could have probably been a bigger artist if I was getting to put out but yeah, it's the same point, like, yeah. So think it through, make sure it makes sense, but still know that there are always potential problems with any relationship.
It's just life.
You know what I mean? So something can always arise. So that's it for the day. Episode 13. On Just Mumble TV. Pigs.
Shotty.
Out.
You gotta click, well I'm a click away from everything. You host the club, I host information on everything. Cut from a different cloth, Microsoft, so I can communicate with you all.